Okay, our potatoes are done boiling. We've poured off the water and put them in the freezer for 5 minutes so they could cool down just a little bit, just enough to be able to handle them. Now you still want them to be warm or even hot if you can, so that it'll absorb the margarine and milk that we're going to put in it. That's going to make it a creamy mashed potato. So go ahead and grab one of your potatoes, and they should be so well cooked that the skin just comes right off of them. If that doesn't work, what you can do is you can use a knife and just barely scrape off the outer layer. You want to put those off to the side. Now you can, if you want, make this mashed potatoes with the skins on. I've seen that done and it's actually pretty delicious. But today we're going to take the skins off. And once you have them all peeled, you're going to take your potato masher. Now, if you have a mixer, an electric mixer, or even one of the hand crank mixers, you can use that to mash potatoes up, and they'll actually come out creamier than using this. But we're going to go ahead and use this today because we're basic cooking. We're doing it the simplest way possible. This is our potato masher. You smash it down in there. You're going to mash them up really good, as the name implies. Now you don't have to get them completely creamy just yet, because we're going to put in the margarine and the milk, and that's going to smooth it out some. And I don't know anybody who's ever been to Thanksgiving or Easter or Christmas who hasn't had lumpy mashed potatoes. So we got those mashed up pretty good. We're going to go ahead and start putting in the margarine. Probably going to put in about 4 tablespoons to start. And then with the masher, we're going to go ahead and mash and smooth and mix and get that margarine in there really good. Now you're going to notice that it's not really thinning out much with the margarine. That's mostly in there just for flavor. Where we're going to get the creaminess is whenever we put the milk in. And before we put the milk in, we're going to go ahead and flavor them a little bit with some garlic salt. That'll make them some garlic mashed potatoes. They'll be delicious. We're going to go ahead and add our milk. You start by putting a little bit in at a time. And then you'll increase it little by little until you have the consistency that you want. Now you'll notice that I'm using a wire whip for this. When it gets to be about this point, the potato masher isn't going to do much to give you the creamy consistency that you want out of the mashed potatoes. So you want to use a wire whip. Or, as I said, if you have an electric beater, that would be best. So these aren't quite creamy enough. We're going to go ahead and add a little more milk. And there we go. Creamy, delicious, buttery mashed potatoes. Alright, our ham's been cooking for about 2 hours now, so it's getting close to being done. This is when we want to apply the glaze, so we're going to go ahead and mix that up right now. You're going to take 12 ounces of honey, one cup of brown sugar, and then we're going to turn our stove on a low heat and adding a little bit of water because we need it to thin out just a little bit. You know how thick honey can be, and when you add the brown sugar to it, that's some thick stuff, and you want something that's going to be able to better penetrate the meat. So you want something thinner. That's why we add the water. And we're going to heat this up because you want to put it on warm. Whenever you put it on warm, it allows the meat to absorb the glaze better. And that right there is about the perfect consistency. So we can go ahead and glaze our ham. Oh man, that is smelling delicious, but we haven't even finished yet. We still have to put the glaze on the ham. What you want to do is take the glaze And the first bit of glaze we're just going to pour over the top, and then after that we're going to baste it every 15 minutes with the glaze. So we just take it and basically pour just a light thin layer over the ham. And this is the messy part I was talking about. If you get this in the bottom of your pan and it turns black, your pan is done. All right, now we can put this back in. It's going to continue to cook for at least another 30 minutes to an hour. We're going to check it here in 30 minutes with the thermometer to see if we're at 160. In the meantime, we're going to baste it every 15 minutes, and then we'll be ready to eat. Okay, it's been 15 minutes since we added the glaze, and now it's time to give it a basting. Now you could use the juices in the pan here, the ham juices, but I find that basting it with the glaze makes it sweeter, gives it a better flavor. So we're going to go ahead and just brush that on now. All right, and then we can put it in for another 15 minutes. At that point, we're going to check the temperature and see if it's ready. If not, we'll apply another layer of glaze. Go ahead and put it back in the oven, and we'll be back in 15 minutes. It's been about 2.5 hours that we've been cooking the ham. We glazed it, we've basted it a couple of times, and now we're going to go ahead and check the temperature and see if it's ready. You can use one of these handy dandy little thermometers, meat thermometers. Cost me about $3 at the store. What you want to do is you want to stick it into the fattest part of the meat. And there we are, 160. The ham's finished. We can go ahead and take it out of the oven. You want to make sure and brace the bottom of the pan here, because like I said, these disposable pans are a little bit flimsy. And there you have it. Our delicious, beautiful ham. We'll let it rest for about 15 minutes, then we'll slice it up and have a taste. Now our ham's rested for 15 minutes and we can go ahead and start slicing. Let's see how this thing turned out. It's nice and tender. Nice and juicy. Yes, this is going to be exactly as I expected it. All right. Now's my favorite part of the show where we get to taste the food. This looks great. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. That's good. It's sweet and salty and tender and juicy. Perfect holiday ham. And as you can see, I've assembled a little plate here that you can assemble for your friends with our mashed potatoes, our ham, deviled eggs. I microwaved some corn just to put on the plate, and a salad with some buttered bread, and you've got a full meal. Now that you know how to cook it, you can cook it for your friends this Easter holiday. That's all the time we have on Basic Cooking for today. Bye.